Hello, I'm David Chaston with 9 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This is where you get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock, with news of reform challenges in the US, in China and Australia. But first, dairy prices fell much less this morning than many market observers had feared. Some were expecting another 10% fall, but in the end it was just a 2.8% reduction from the last auction 2 weeks ago. That's 3.8% down in New Zealand dollars. Still, that takes prices back to where they were at the low point in August last year, and prior to that they were last at this level in August 2009. Last night the key whole milk powder component was down 3.7%. You should also know that prices are now below Fonterra's last payout forecast. In the US, the Federal Reserve's newest policymaker, who was a former Treasury official and prior to that a Goldman Sachs exec, called on lawmakers to consider bold transformational rules, including the breakup of the country's largest banks. This to ensure taxpayers no longer are on the hook should they fail. Meanwhile, Standard & Poor's is warning that systemic risks in China and the possibility of sudden policy shifts are combining to fuel a borrowing spree by their corporates, which is likely to bring some rapid ratings downgrades, including those of the country as a whole. Even their premier acknowledged great challenges and new uncertainties, and that may be understating it. In Australia, National Australia Bank boss Andrew Thorburn has told the locals that they can probably no longer afford what their citizens expect, and the pressure will get tighter unless they make some hard reform choices and changes to how they make policy happen. And probably infuriating them further, he says Australia should adopt how New Zealand is achieving its changes. In New York, the benchmark US Treasury 10-year yield is higher at 1.78%. US oil price is down today to $29 a barrel, while Brent is just on $32 a barrel. Russia, Venezuela and Saudi Arabia said they had agreed to freeze output. That's if everyone else does too. But price optimism quickly cooled on that idea because Iran is unlikely to follow. China also announced it is not adjusting its retail prices of petrol down to reflect the low crude prices, helping to keep a lid on demand. The gold price is a little higher today at $1,213 an ounce, and the New Zealand dollar fell by about 1 cent yesterday after the weaker than expected survey results for inflation expectations. But after today's dairy auction, it has not moved any further. It is now at 65.6 US cents, 92.4 Aussie cents and 58.9 euro cents. The TWI will start today at 70.3. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.